The movie starts with a rough guy named Chapman sitting at a table. He lines up 3 shot glasses. One stays empty. The second has 1 bullet. The third holds 2. He starts naming buddies he fought with who didn't make it, counting down to the last name. That name matches the glass with 2 bullets. Without waiting, he chugs the whiskey from it, then puts the bullets in his revolver. This time, it's a 1 in 3 chance at Russian roulette. He pulls the trigger. Just a click. No bang. Luck or a bad break, he's not sure. Later that day, Chapman heads to a liquor store to grab more drinks. As he's looking around, 2 guys with guns bust in. He's not scared at all. He steps right in front of them, totally calm. He tells them not to shoot for the belly, says it's a nasty, slow way to go. He grabs one guy's gun by the barrel and tells them to aim for the chest or head instead. Crazy? No, I'm crazy patient. Come on, he says. The guy with the gun hesitates. That's all Chapman needs. In a flash, he takes one down, then the other. As they hit the floor, his mind's not in the store anymore. War stuff comes rushing back, heavy and hard to shake. That night, he can't sleep. Flashbacks smash into him like a truck. He tries to push them away with tough workouts, but it doesn't work. He gets mad and pounds the wall with his fists until his hands are bloody. Morning comes, but Chapman's a mess, hungover and barely awake. Someone bangs on the door loud. It's his sister Cindy, who he forgot to pick up from the airport. She's not surprised to see him like this. Cindy says she's in town for a friend's wedding for a couple days before going back to Brazil. She's been working there in dangerous spots, trying to help people through charity. Chapman hates it, but she won't listen to him. Before she leaves, she checks his pills, the ones supposed to keep him okay. Turns out he swapped them for breath mints. She shakes her head and heads out. For a bit, things seem normal. Then 2 Brazilian cops, Catarina and Paulo, find Cindy barely hanging on at a beach. The ugly attack gets on the news, reaches the U.S. Embassy, and hits Chapman too. He doesn't wait. He jumps on the first flight to Rio de Janeiro. At the same time, Detective Tiago Santo and his partner Carlo Baroro are in the favelas, chasing guys smuggling weapons. They're arresting someone when Catarina and Paulo show up, following a different clue about Cindy's attack. Catarina doesn't like how rough Santo gets. She tells him he's out of his area and too hard on people. Santo doesn't take it easy. He tries to scare her instead of answering, says she's too soft on the locals and that's why crime's so bad here, almost getting an American killed. Before he finishes yelling, a rock flies in and hits him in the back. Things get tense fast. Cops and locals grab their guns, ready for a fight. Seeing they're outnumbered, Santo steps back and makes a deal. Your best fighter against mine. He puts his partner Baroro up against the toughest capoeira guy from the locals. If Baroro loses, the cops walk away, no arrests. The fight kicks off, but it's obvious who's winning. The big cop ducks, kicks fast, flips around, and knocks the other guy out cold. Santo laughs big, says he and his guys will come back whenever they want. As they leave, the locals stare at them, full of hate. Meanwhile, Chapman lands in Brazil. Manny Ridley, the U.S. ambassador and an old army friend, picks him up. They go to the hospital where Chapman sees Cindy in a coma. She's pale and still, and it pulls him back to old war days. Piles of bodies, bloody sand, quiet after shooting. Before he can deal with it, Santo walks in, complaining the favela is real bad. Manny says he's the main detective on the case, tells Chapman to stay chill and let the police handle it. Santo gets straight to it. He tells Chapman the favelas aren't for sightseeing. On the way to the crime scene, the two share dark thoughts. Santo says kids here grow up to be crooks. Chapman sees war all over, even where it's not happening. They both agree the world's a mean, tough place. They get to the favelas, and Chapman meets Catarina again. As she starts talking, a loud noise goes off. His gut kicks in. Before he knows it, he grabs Catarina's gun from her holster. It's just an old truck making a racket. Chapman, my gun, please, she says. Santo watches him close, tells Catarina to keep an eye on this American guy. As she walks him through the streets, she paints a rough picture. Clinics and schools don't get money from the government now. Drug gangs pay for them. That's why people here protect the bad guys. If they don't, they lose the little they've got. For Catarina, this makes every cop step risky. One wrong move could start a big fight. Back at the hospital, Cindy's health drops fast. Chapman's with her and runs to get a nurse. Something's not right. A few minutes ago, a woman pretending to be a doctor was in Cindy's room. Now her life support stuff is unplugged. Someone tried to kill her. Mad as hell, Chapman demands cops guard Cindy's bed all day and night. Then he heads straight to the favelas looking for answers. He finds a street kid named Kuka, the same one he saw near the beach where Cindy got hurt. When he sees the necklace on Kuka's neck, he loses it. It's Cindy's. He grabs Kuka, demands to know what's up. Kuka and his friends jump him, but they're no match for a guy who's been a Marine. It's over quick. Kuka, scared, pulls a knife. Chapman takes it easy, turns it back on him. It's a real danger, but they can't talk with different languages. Right then, Katerina shows up and calms things down. She says Cindy worked close with Kuka's family. His sister Maria got taken too, no sign of her. The necklace wasn't stolen. It was a gift, a sign of friendship between Cindy and Maria. Chapman sees he got it wrong and lets up. Kuka gives him Cindy's notebook. Something's off, lots of pages are ripped out. Looking through it, Chapman finds a name, a photographer Cindy worked with lately. He calls, sets up a meeting at a cafe. The guy says Cindy paid him to take pictures of kids' hard lives in the favelas, but she was also digging into girls disappearing from the streets at night. He thinks that's what got her in trouble. Cindy took all his photos, left nothing with him. Chapman thanks him, gives him a hug, and sneaks a flash drive from his pocket. As the photographer walks to his car, a huge bang happens. The car blows up, kills him right there, and hurts people nearby. The shock sends Chapman back to war memories, but in the mess, he spots the woman who tried to kill Cindy at the hospital. He runs after her. As he turns a corner, a black SUV pulls up fast. Guys with big guns start shooting. Chapman ducks the bullets, dives behind something. A security guard nearby drops dead, caught in it. Chapman grabs the dead guy's gun, shoots back, takes out a few, and makes the rest drive off. Later, in Ridley's office, Chapman tells him about the attack. He saw weird tattoos on the shooter's arms, thinks they're from the Japanese crime world. The woman he chased looked Eastern for sure. They check the flash drive he took. One picture stands out. Cindy snapped a guy outside a nightclub. Ridley knows the place quick, drives Chapman there. "Oh, that's a local spot. I know where it is," he says. Inside, Chapman stays quiet, follows the guy from the photo. He trails him to the bathroom, doesn't wait, pins him down, grabs his papers. The guy cracks fast, gives up an address of a big-deal client who might be linked to Cindy's attack. The next day, Chapman and Ridley go to this fancy villa, a hangout for rich and strong people. Meanwhile, across town, Santo and his team get ready for a mean raid on drug dealers in the favelas. Santo says no mercy, tells his guys to take everyone out. Before they go, he kneels, says a quick prayer his way of feeling okay before starting trouble. "Put him in the ground," he says. Soon, his team hits the spot hard. No arrests, just people dropping. At the villa, Chapman showing up doesn't go unnoticed. A call goes upstairs. They tell an elegant but dangerous-looking Asian woman counting money that he's there. She doesn't react much, tells the guards not to bother the boss, Hiramoto. Chapman gets led to a balcony. Down below, he sees a van roll up, doors open, and young girls get pulled out. One's Maria Kuka's lost sister. Before he can do anything, a wire squeezes his neck. A guard tries to choke him from behind, but Chapman's not easy to take down. He fights back, gets free, knocks the guy out. He slips into the dark, follows the traffickers, stays hidden. The place is full of armed guys, Japanese Yakuza, like he thought. Back in the favelas, the killing keeps going. One of Santo's guys sees Yakuza in clean black suits leading kids to a car. He steps up to stop them on instinct. Santo, playing it smart, says the guy's brave, then pulls his gun and shoots him dead. The Yakuza walk away free. Santo calls his bosses. The woman on the phone says his money's ready at the port. Then she dials another number, her boss, Hiramoto. There's a problem. The American's getting in the way, and they need him gone. As she says this, the guy from the nightclub stands in front of Hiramoto, waiting for what's coming. Losing those papers to Chapman was a bad mistake. One fast swipe of a samurai sword, and Lima's dead. Meanwhile, Chapman moves deeper into their turf. It doesn't take long for Hiramoto's guys to notice him. 5 rush him at once. He fights with his hands and a briefcase he grabbed. Before he's done, Santo and Baroro show up, guns out, telling him to hand over the briefcase. Shots ring out, and Katerina and her partner get there just in time to mess up Santo's plan. Stuck acting normal, the dirty detective follows as Chapman takes them to the room where the kidnapped girls were kept. But it's empty. They've been moved. Mad but not giving up, Chapman gives them the briefcase, knowing the stuff inside connects the Yakuza to trafficking. Santo says he'll take the evidence. As Chapman starts to leave, it hits him. He never said Lima's name. That means Santo already knew. It clicks Santo's in on it. Chapman tells Katerina to check on Cindy at the hospital while he follows Santo. Hiding in Santo's car, he watches him drive to the port. Meanwhile, Katerina gets there right before a hired killer can finish Cindy off. The killer barely moves before Katerina takes them out. At the port, Chapman stays in the shadows. Santo's with Yakuza guys as the kidnapped kids get pushed into a storage building, ready to ship to Japan. It's all he needs to see. He calls Ridley, tells him everything, but his old friend says, "Don't go alone." Chapman doesn't. Listen, he never does. Using all his marine tricks, he sneaks through the port, taking out guards one by one. His tough moves turn things his way. Then Santos spots him. They pull guns. Shots fly. Chapman rams a forklift into Santo, traps his leg. Before he can finish, Baroro jumps him, knocks his gun away. The big guy starts a wild capoeira attack, but Chapman fights better. Fancy moves don't matter against hard hits and smart timing. Santo gets free from the wreckage, jumps back in. Even together, they can't stop Chapman. Then Haramoto steps in, sword shining. The Yakuza boss moves smooth and deadly, cuts Chapman's arm, puts him on defense. Now it's 3 against 1. Santo swings a knife. Chapman turns it fast, stabs Baroro's leg instead. A second later, he knocks Santo out with a hard punch, rips the chain off his neck, and shoves it into his chest, right to the heart. Only Haramoto's left. Chapman grabs 2 metal pipes, blocks, and moves the sword's sharp swings. He twists, locks the blade, points it at the Yakuza boss's throat. Just when it looks like he's winning, Haramoto's hidden blade pops out from the sword's handle, stabs Chapman in the stomach. That's a mistake. Running on pure will, Chapman uses his last energy, smashes Haramoto's head with big hits until the crime guy falls. Nearby, Santo, bleeding bad, throws Chapman a key. It opens a locker full of names of every crooked cop, judge, and government person tied to this. Santo, knowing he's toast, says he did lots of bad stuff, but Cindy wasn't his fault. He breathes his last. Haramoto tries one more move. Chapman doesn't wait, shoots him full of bullets, ends it for real. As he walks away, Chapman leaves a gun by Santo's messed-up body of final kindness. Ridley and the cops show up soon after. Chapman frees the kidnapped kids himself. Cindy makes it, but she's hurt bad. She'll need lots of doctor help. Ridley offers to pay for it, but only if Chapman works for him as a secret agent. Ridley knows he'll say yes before he even does. Chapman gets a new name. His old Marine call sign, Falcon.